Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday, July 8th. 3 people were injured following an early Monday morning shooting at the Rio Grande Valley Border Patrol Annex in McAllen that left the gunman dead. McAllen police identified the suspect as 27-year-old Ryan Luis Mosqueda of Michigan. Mosqueda was armed with an assault-style rifle and tactical gear when he opened fire in the parking lot of the building located near the McAllen International Airport. McAllen Police Chief Victor Rodriguez said Mosqueda fired toward the federal building and at Border Patrol agents inside. Federal agents returned fire, killing Mosqueda. Multiple agencies responded to the shooting, and all flights at the nearby McAllen International Airport were delayed after Wichita Avenue from 10th Street to Bicentennial was temporarily closed off. The FBI will be handling the investigation. The Brownsville Animal Regulation and Care Center recently hired Dr. Melissa Draper to its team as its newest senior veterinarian. Draper was the City of Corpus Christi's veterinarian for 12 years. She will provide medical care for pets housed at Bar CC. Her responsibilities include promoting animal welfare, increasing adoption rates, and supporting public safety through disease prevention strategies. She previously served as an adjunct professor at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, specializing in veterinary forensics. She holds a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree from Louisiana State University and a master's degree in veterinary forensic medicine from the University of Florida. Drivers near the Harbor Bridge area dealt with detours and delays recently as crews worked to open the northbound lanes of the new bridge, and it's now finally open. The transition began Sunday night with partial lane closures on the old Harbor Bridge. Yesterday, a section of northbound Crosstown was completely shut down. All northbound traffic was being detoured at the Agnes Laredo exit while crews completed the final preparations as they open today. Governor Abbott is planning to put disaster response on the agenda for the upcoming legislative special session. Houston Public Media's Andrew Schneider says it's not yet clear how Abbott will direct lawmakers to address the deadly flash flooding in the Texas Hill Country.
During the regular session, lawmakers considered but failed to pass a bill that would have invested $500 million over 10 years to set up a grant program for counties to build new emergency communications infrastructure.
The way that most places that are rural have handled these types of things in the past is, first of all, it's really hard. It's very labor intensive.
Carrie Stevens is an expert on emergency communication at the University of Texas at Austin.
A lot of times they need to manually be calling individual businesses and individual major employers and groups that are taking care of large groups of others, because there may not have been any type of an automated system that people had access to.
The special session begins July 21st. I'm Andrew Schneider in Houston.
The Cameron County Public Health Department announced the cancellation of this year's Operation Border Health. The event, which provides free health services to the community, was originally scheduled for the week of July 21st at Los Fresnos High School. The local cancellation was due to funding issues, according to a social media post. The department said they anticipate that Operation Border Health will resume next year. The Texas Health and Human Services website currently shows that Operation Border Health will go on at the other Rio Grande Valley locations, such as PSJA Early College High School in San Juan, John and Olive Hinojosa Elementary School in Rio Grande City, and Raymondville High School. The northbound lanes of Everhart Road between SPID and Lamont Street are closed for ongoing street reconstruction work. Two-way traffic will shift to the southbound lanes in 2 phases. McArdle Road to Lamont Street is closed through mid-August. SPID to McArdle Road will be closed through October. Additional lane closures will occur at the SPID intersection. This work is part of the Everhart Road reconstruction project, a $30 million investment funded by the 2020 bond program. The project began in 2023 and is scheduled for completion by the end of this year. The Salvation Army of Victoria got a $3,700 grant awarded by Sparklight through its charitable giving fund. The fund supported the nonprofit's July 1st Back to School Dress for Student Success shopping spree. The event helped over 80 at-risk students in securing essentials needed for the school year. Sparklight's donation sponsored 50 of the participating students and their families. Several Sparklight associates also volunteered at the event, wheeling carts and helping keep track of expenses so students can best use their $75 gift. Corpus Christi's next Litter Critter Community Cleanup event will take place Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Flour Bluff High School parking lot at 2505 Waldron Road. Litter Critter provides residents with a way to dispose of unwanted items outside of scheduled pickup dates. Residents should prepare to offload their items. Commercial hauling is not permitted. Items accepted include heavy brush, bulky items, household trash, and appliances. Items not accepted include hazardous waste, brake and transmission fluid, batteries, and concrete. For more information, visit the city's Solid Waste Department website at corpuschristitx.gov. We now continue our coverage on the flooding in Central Texas. Search operations continue today after the deadly floods that took place last Friday. Officials said search and rescue operations are ongoing, stretching from Kerr to Comal County. They also were joined by U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, who spoke to the broader situation across the state.
Texas is grieving right now. The pain, the shock of what has transpired these last few days has broken the heart of our state. As of yesterday, the confirmed death toll was 82. And those numbers are continuing to go up.
Of those who died in Kerr County, more than 20 have been confirmed to be children. Officials also said there are still 10 girls and 1 counselor from Camp Mystic. The deadly flash floods in Kerr County and other parts of the Hill Country in Central Texas came just weeks after 13 people were killed by floodwaters in San Antonio. San Antonio Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro told NPR's Morning Edition that Kerr County does not have the local disaster relief resources available like in Bexar County and large municipalities.
So it's going to be important that both state and federal governments are very helpful and supportive with resources, with money for the community to rebuild, to look at alarm systems to prevent this from happening again, to look at flood mitigation efforts as well.
Castro says it's too early to tell if recent staff reductions to the National Weather Service could have led to earlier warnings to people living and camping downstream of the river. There have now been over 100 confirmed deaths from last week's flooding. Among them was Dick Eastland, the director of Camp Mystic, a Christian summer girls camp that's been in operation for 99 years along the banks of the Guadalupe. The Texas Newsroom's Blaze Gainey has this remembrance of Eastland, a 70-year-old whose family has owned the camp since 1939.
The father of 4 and a mentor to generations of young women, Dick Eastland was the director of Camp Mystic. Dick had been working at the family-run operation since 1974 and was often remembered by campers as a great fishing coach. Lauren Garcia is a 30-year-old physician's assistant and a former Camp Mystic attendee. She told Texas Public Radio she found out about Eastland's passing through a text.
We believe that Dick was trying to save a few of the campers, and I believe he had passed in trying to save them from the flooding.
Garcia says Dick was a constant presence at Camp Mystic.
The Eastlands have been running this camp for decades. And Dick and Tweety are the owners right now of the camp, and you see them all around the camp all day, every day. Dick will help teach our fishing lessons to the little girls.
Garcia says once you caught a fish, Dick would do his best to make it a special moment.
He'd hug you. He would take a picture with you, and he'd say, now hold the fish up by, you have to hold him by his mouth, and say, put it closer to the camera, make it look real big. Like, let's send this to your parents. And he was just like a grandpa I never had.
Another former camper, Shelby Patterson, remembers attending Camp Mystic during the summer of her junior year of high school. She says at that age, she was one of Dick's aides at the camp, and aides were the ones who'd stock up on snacks.
Dick would meet you at the commissary where, you get your snacks every day at like 2 p.m. after rest hour. And it was just like this special time to be together and like have a treat. And I will always remember those times so fondly.
After Dick Eastland's death was announced on Saturday, dozens took to social media to remember him in their time at Camp Mystic. Dick's grandson, George Eastland, posted a photo remembrance of him and his grandfather online. Along with it, he wrote, if he wasn't going to die of natural causes, this was the only other way, saving the girls that he so loved and cared for. In Austin, I'm Blaze Gainey.
The East Plano Islamic Center is suing the state's funeral commission to resume services after the mosque was ordered to stop earlier this year. KERA's Toluwani Osabamuo reports the commission's order was part of a flurry of legal action against the mosque this year.
The Funeral Service Commission sent Epic a cease and desist alleging the mosque was illegally operating as a funeral home without a license. Epic's lawyers say the mosque isn't a funeral home. It partners with licensed funeral homes and cemeteries to carry out Islamic funeral funeral and burial rites. They argue the Funeral Commission doesn't have the authority to stop the mosque from performing funerals as a non-license holder. The lawsuit alleges 11 congregation members have died without receiving proper funeral rites at their home mosque. The mosque says they're being targeted because of their religion. I'm Toluwani Osibamowo in Plano.
And in sports, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley announced that the Vaqueros football team will play its first 5 home games at 7 p.m. and its last 2 at 5 p.m. The first 5 games will be played during daylight savings time, while the final 2 are during standard time. Tailgating begins 5 hours before scheduled game time, meaning 2 p.m. for the first 5 games and noon for the final 2. The Vaqueros play their first ever game on August 30th against Sul Ross State. Later, they open Southland Conference play on September 27th at Southeastern before playing their first Southland home game against Houston Christian University on October 4th. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. You can check out this and previous episodes of South Texas Midday wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.